Let me add to my stream. Shirt legit boss. I got this at the WWE Raw show back in 2019 when she made a return to WWE. I'm going to show you that video later on when we get to that part. Okay? Okay. So this is a spotlight dedicated to Sasha Banks. And we're gonna start from her career. Wrestling career. Her growing up. And feel free to chime in the comments. Alright? Feel free to do that. Because it's going to be fun. And the Becky Lynch one, I thought was one of my best streams ever. And I have everything set up for a stream. I got pictures, everything we needed. Pictures and stuff needed for this stream. I cannot use clips, otherwise you know what happens. But I can use a clip from my YouTube channel, which I have. We're making a return in 2019. After SummerSlam, I have a clip of me using my phone. So I can use that. I'll use that. And feel free to pop in and what can we say about Sasha Banks? Like briefly before we get into more detail, what can we say about her? Well, very talented. Very talented, right? Very talented in the ring, creative. With her gimmick, great in the ring. She's been in Mandalorian. Out of the ring, she has a very good personality. She's not like her character. She's actually more like geeky like personality. She likes anime. She's a big fan of Sailor Moon. It's true. She's a big fan of Sailor Moon. She has no problem with admitting that. She likes video games. Her best friend is Bailey, of course. Her cousin Snoop Dogg. It's true. That's a fact. Her cousin is Snoop Dogg. And she's what the wrestler that aspired to be that got into wrestling was the late great Eddie Guerrero. And that's her idol. And she plans her wrestling style based off Eddie Guerrero. She does a splash. And yeah. That's Sasha Banks. She's still wrestling. So let's get on to the start. So she did not start in WWE, okay? She had a little bit, she started young. She had a little bit of an independent experience. She started in independent scenes. She met her current husband, not future husband. She met her husband when she was working at Independence. Then she got hired and scouted by WWE. And this is back when 2011, 2012 when FCW was around. And then she got so she signed WWE as a character. That's herself, Mercedes Renato. That's who she is. That's her real name. And as you see in the Mandalorian in the credits, they don't refer to her as Sasha Banks. They refer to her as real name. And so there we go. And then FCW rebranded itself as NXT, right? When NXT went away from like game show style of, I'm gonna call it wrestling, to more of a wrestling style where younger talent develop or before they get into the main roster, and she was one of them. So in 2013, she was on NXT, right? And then as Mercedes Renato, she got her named as Sasha Banks. But she wasn't going anywhere with that as a babyface. She started as a babyface. But that wasn't working, and she needed a change. And then all of a sudden, Summer Rae came up to her, and she turned heel and joined with Summer Rae to form the BFFs, the best friends. And then later on, future great rival Charlotte Flair would join the BFFs. And let me show you a picture. I'll show you the BFFs if I can find it. Right here. On the left, that's Charlotte Flair in her very young in the NXT days. In the middle, that's Summer Rae, and on the right, that's Sasha Banks. Right? BFFs. But during 2013-2014, Summer Rae would get caught up to the main roster. Right? She became Fandango's, I guess, valet dance partner. And so the BFFs were just Charlotte and Sasha. And they would go around one shot all over NXT in the women's division. And we have Paige, Emma, and, well, Bayley. Especially with Bayley. Well, in 2014, BFFs kind of dissolved. Charlotte went her own way. She became a babyface. And Sasha Banks went her own way. She stayed as a heel. Charlotte became NXT champion in May of 2014. It was in 14 when she defeated Natalya to take over the vacant NXT Women's title. That Paige left after getting called up to the main roster, and that's in 2014. So then, Charlotte Flair turned babyface in NXT. She was a babyface in NXT from then on. And she feuded with Bayley a little bit, face versus face, but Sasha Banks managed to get involved in that feud. That led to Sasha versus Charlotte Flair at TakeOver in December 2014. Remember, TakeOver weren't a big pay-per-view then. They were more of a special NXT kind of show on the network or whatever. They weren't a big extravaganza pay-per-view. They didn't become big until Brooklyn in 2015. The first NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That's when the first huge NXT pay-per-view took place with that credible match. Well, we'll get to Sasha Banks was involved with Bayley, of course. We'll get to that. We're getting to that. And so, let's go on from there. So she didn't win that NXT. That NXT December 4th TakeOver. I forgot what the actual name of the TakeOver was, but it was a good show. And then later on, the first time, this is the only time the Four Horsewomen were in a Fatal 4-Way match with each other. The only time. I know people were wanting it to happen. People wanted it to happen in WrestleMania. But I think it was February of 2014. So the only time the Four Horsewomen were in the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Women's Championship or title, whatever you want to call it, that featured Becky Lynch, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair. And that match was incredible. It was very incredible. And this is when Sasha Banks finally became NXT Women's Champion. And Here we go. Here we go. Her holding up the title. And when she became champion. NXT Women's Champion. And she had it till summer of 2015. There was a takeover in May, I believe, when she defeated Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was a heel at this point. But Sasha turned on Becky and Becky became a babyface. She successfully defended the title against Becky Lynch. Right? And then she lost the title to Bayley at NXT Brooklyn in an incredible women's match. You know, might be the top, not just one of the best women's matches, one of the best matches in WWE history, but definitely might be the top women's match in WWE history. But before we get there, in July, this is a time when the women's division was very, very weak, very, very bad. It was terrible. And remember the hashtag give divas a chance or whatever, give women a chance, and that's they were trending. And unfortunately, in July, Stephanie McMahon announced Women's Revolution, right? And then and we got the call-ups from the. Let me see if I can find. Then we got the call-ups. I don't know if I have a picture here. Let me look for it. Okay, I don't have a picture. I'm sorry. And just a minute, my friends. So we had the call-ups. Right? And that featured, this was the time when Nikki Bella was women's champion, or Divas champion, the Diva title belt at the time. So we had the call-ups. So we had Nikki Bella and her sister Brie Bella had Alexa Fox on her side. And then Stephanie McMahon announced the Women's Revolution, calling up 3 NXT women. Sasha Banks. Yes, as I said, Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch. And Charlotte Flair. Now, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch joined Paige to form the team of PCB. Paige, Charlotte, Becky. And Sasha Banks joined a team of Tamina and a heel Naomi to form the team of Bad. Sorry, and I have a picture of that Team Bad. I'll look for it right here. I know I have a picture of that. Here we go. Team Bad. Sasha Banks is right here with the purple hair and the sunglasses. That's her gimmick, right? Her theme song was amazing too. Tamina in the middle and Naomi. Now, Tamina and Naomi are in the family by... Well, Tamina and Naomi are part of the Samoan family. There's Naomi married into it. Tamina is the daughter of Jimmy Snuka, obviously. And this is the team of Team Bad. And yeah. And Team Bad, well, they had a rivalry with PCB and Team Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella unfortunately lost Nikki Bella lost the Divas title to Charlotte Flair at Night of Champions or Clash of Champions, whatever it was called back then, because of her neck, she had to take the time off. Team Bad was around for a while. Until January of 2016, Charlotte Flair became champion. January 2016, Charlotte Flair successfully defended the Divas title over Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch, right? Over Becky Lynch. And then Charlotte Flair posing the title. Sasha Banks' music hits. And Sasha Banks came out and made herself notice, knocking out Charlotte Flair, turning face, babyface for the first time in a long time. And then she turned Team Bad turned on her. She had a team with Becky Lynch, and then we got that. And then we got that WrestleMania triple threat match at WrestleMania between Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, where Charlotte Flair retained when over Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had to tap out to the figure 8, where Ric Flair held Sasha Banks outside, so she couldn't break up the submission. And then after that, 2016, Charlotte Flair, the Divas title was gone. What's her name? Stephanie McMahon revealed the women's championship, not the Divas title. This became the Raw Women's title eventually, and when the brand split started again, and then Charlotte Flair had kind of feuds with Natalia here and there, and then later in the summer, one of the best women's feuds in the history of wrestling. It's up there with Sasha. With Lita and Trish. And so the summer of 2016, all the way to about maybe WrestleMania, or a little just before that. Yeah, Sasha and Charlotte Flair both drafted the Raw when the brand happened. The brand split happened in July. Both drafted to Raw. Charlotte Flair was the champion, and then they started having their feud, where Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks were feuding with each other. It was a hot potato with the Raw Women's title at the time, but Charlotte Flair would always win the title. At that time in the hot potato time at the on the pay-per-views, where Sasha had a thing to always winning the title on Raw, and Sasha always had this knack of losing the title right away, especially on the pay-per-view, that she has never held the title for more like 30 days. And here's some pictures of her. Here's her winning a title from those days. Right? Here's another one, and I forgot to mention that she had an incredible match with Bayley at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, the first one in 2015. It was such a great moment. It was a great match. Bayley became champion, but I just had to put it in here because here's one of the best pictures in wrestling history: the 4 horsewomen raising their arms up together. Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Charlotte Flair. And you know, they're like the core of the women's division right now. But, as I said, back to 2016, between the summer, fall, and winter of 2016 and early 2017, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair have been going at each other, hot potato with the title. Yeah, some people say, "Oh, I don't like the hot potato. Let them have it longer." But I think it worked very well here because both of them were hot at the time, and it was one of the best things about wrestling. And October 2016, they had the first ever Hell in a Cell match for women, and here it is. Here's a picture of it. They're both hanging at the cell here. You can see them both hanging in the cell. This is when Sasha Banks, I think, got power bombed through the table, right? Yes. But unfortunately, Charlotte Flair won here. And then over time, Sasha Banks did win it on Raw again. In a great, not no man standing match, but no DQ, false count, pin anywhere match. She did win it. This was after Survivor Series. They were on the same team for Survivor Series. It's brand split. 2016. I was there. It was great. I got to see all. It was great to see it. Survivor Series live in 2016. But this was after Survivor Series. And Sasha Banks became champion by making Charlotte submit, walking up the stairs because his fall false count anywhere or submit, so they're walking up the stairs in the crowd. And I think it was the railing or whatever. She made it put in her submission move, the bank statement, and that's what Sasha Banks won and need a fame, right? And then at Wool Block, they had an Iron Man match. We went to overtime, and Sasha Banks unfortunately couldn't. Remember, before they went to overtime, Sasha Banks had like 3 or 4 seconds left before he actually won. She was winning. She had the more I wouldn't say pinfalls. I guess wins. I don't know what the record was. Maybe 2-1 or something like that for her. But Charlotte Flair had her in the figure 8, and 3 or 4 seconds left. Sasha tapped and tied 2-2, and they went to overtime where Charlotte Flair won, took the title back. This is Bull Block, December 2016. I was like, I crashed on them because 3 or 4 seconds. Come on, you couldn't hold on for 3 or 4 more seconds. But yeah, that's what happens. Wrestling, WWE. That happens in WWE. So 2017 came along. This year wasn't very. I would say this year was more of an off year for Sasha. This 2017 and 2018, I think, were an off year for Sasha. Early 2017, she was involved in a fatal 4-way title match at WrestleMania, where she lost. And Bayley retained because Bayley became the champion at the time, and yeah, Bayley lost Alexa Bliss, and that whole thing, the Bayley and Alexa Bliss whole thing was terrible, especially with the "this is your life" stuff. I don't know, that was bad. We can all agree there. That was terrible. Fortunately, what happened was in 2017, Bayley won the match where she became the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's title for SummerSlam 2017. Alexa Bliss was the champion, but she hurt her shoulder, right? She dislocated it and she couldn't compete, right? And I was at that Raw in Toronto where she was being interviewed, and the crowd was booing her and she was rattled. I was there, and you could tell she was rattled. She was rattled. But WWE decided to have triple threat elimination matches with Sasha Banks. So what happened was 2 matches, triple threat each. The winner of those triple threat matches would face each other next week. So Sasha Banks won one. I forgot who won the other, and Sasha Banks won the other match. The finalists from the triple threat match beat and defeated whoever, and she faced Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam 2017, where she won. She actually won in the pay-per-view, but right away she lost it to Alexa Bliss again. Like very, very soon. Once again, Sasha Banks is being known on the main roster to lose the title right away. Right? And then from there on, 2017 to 2018, I can't even remember. What did she do memorable in 2017 and 2018? I know she was in a love-hate relationship with Becky Lynch. Bayley, they were a team with each other. They would team up with each other. They would attack each other, and they had to go to the therapy sessions with the same doctor, the same doctor who did Team Hell No stuff. Remember that? But that was just good. They had to do that. 2017. She challenged Asuka 2018. She lost. And then WrestleMania 2018, she was involved in the Women's Battle Royal, I think. And then from there on out, she really didn't do anything until, I guess, 2019. 2019 was more of a better year for her in some aspects, the beginning especially. But then it came out. She hurt, especially from the Royal Rumble match against Wanda Rousey. Remember, she had to Ronda Rousey. She faced Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title in 2019 in Royal Rumble. She lost, but she got hurt in that match, and really, really badly hurt her shoulder and everything. And her mental state wasn't there either. But she sticked around and she participated in the first ever Elimination Chamber match for the women's newly introduced women's tag teams championship belts, which obviously haven't been used good. Right now, and those belts have been used it's been a disaster ever since. But they won. I'll show you a picture. Here we go. This is them becoming the first, and they successfully retained for about 1 month, and they lost it at WrestleMania to the Iconics. I think it's because this is when Sasha Banks told or Mercedes told WWE and Vince that she needed a mental break. I take her mind off things, and she was away from April all the way to September. She was on a mental break, had to regain her thoughts. She was depressed, had to regroup, and she did a lot of that. And then they asked her, originally it was supposed to be 30 days, but she needed more time, and they granted her that. And I think it rejuvenated her career in 2019, 2020, whatever. And she came back on the Raw after SummerSlam. And let me find the clip for you, because I was there. I was at that Raw. Let me find it for you guys. Okay. It may take me a long time, but I'm going to find it for you guys. It's 2 years old. So bear with me. Just bear with me, guys. I gotta find it. It's 2 years old. It's a little shaky. Okay, I'm almost there. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. I think I have it. So here we go. Okay. Here we go. Just making sure, yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Share screen. Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
T-shirt of the year.
One more time. Okay, that was an okay. So yes. So yes, that's when she turned heel. She came back, turning on Natalia after SummerSlam, which I was there at. And just a minute, I'm gonna get my phone. You see my shirt? Okay. Listen. Okay. So yeah, she came back as a heel then. She had a feud with Becky Lynch, which I liked. Yeah, another Hell in a Cell match. She was involved in another Hell in a Cell match. I looked for it. She lost this to Becky Lynch. And then she got drafted to Smackdown, where she formed an alliance with the newly heel Bayley, the lovable, huggable Bayley is gone. And that Aunt Pamela, whatever you want to call her, the short hair Bayley came back. And during the pandemic, they held the fort during the pandemic, and they became NXT Tag Team Champions. Raw, SmackDown Champion, Raw, Women's Champion. Sasha was. She lost at SummerSlam. And then they lost the Tag Team Champions to Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And that's when Bayley turned against Sasha Banks, making Sasha Banks a babyface. And then a third Hell in a Cell match for Sasha Banks. And here it is. She became the SmackDown Women's Champion, holding the title, and her foot's on top of fallen Bayley. This is 2020 was last year. This is a good match too. And then she was the SmackDown Women's Champion until WrestleMania, where she had an incredible WrestleMania main event match with Bianca Belair. And here's the title of Bianca Belair. This happened at WrestleMania. You see her the green, whatever, her hair blue with green streaks in it. This is when she lost the title. And after that, she took another hiatus, and came back in July. As returning tag team partner to Bianca Belair. She helped Bianca Belair fend off Zelina and Carmella, and then the main event happened. It was them a tag team. They defeated Carmella and Zelina, and then as Bianca Belair celebrating with Sasha turned heel, came back to heel, and turned on Bianca Belair. And then what happened was she was supposed to have a match at SummerSlam in 2021, but so far nothing happened, and she couldn't compete. And that's when Becky Lynch came back and took the title from Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. And then Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch were feuding for a bit. Right? Until and they had a match at Extreme Rules in September, where Sasha Banks made herself noticed again, came back, and cost a no contest between the two, getting herself involved in that picture. And at Crown Jewel, there was a triple threat match where Sasha Banks did not win, Bianca Belair did not win, Becky Lynch won. And remember, this is after a draft where Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair got drafted to Raw, and Sasha Banks was still on SmackDown. SmackDown. She was after SmackDown. And after that, when Charlotte Flair and Raw and Becky Lynch, because Charlotte Flair got her to SmackDown, and Charlotte Flair was the Raw Women's Champion at the time, and Becky Lynch was the SmackDown Women's Championship. On the SmackDown after that, they had to exchange titles, and you know the whole segment went off script, and there was all sorts of problems backstage about the segment, how that went down, how it wasn't good. Sasha Banks came back, made herself noticed to Sasha Banks, to Charlotte Flair, that she's going after her, that she turned babyface again. And then a week after, Charlotte Flair comes out as the new SmackDown Women's Champion. This is last week, not this week. Sasha Banks comes out, calls out Charlotte Flair that you don't care about the people in the back. And Sasha Blackheart comes out. Sasha Blackheart is a credible match with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair beats Sasha Blackheart, but based on kind of a distraction, where Sasha Banks kind of gets involved, kind of distracting Sasha Blackheart, and Sasha Blackheart blames Sasha Banks for losing, and Shotzi, despite a lot of people, turns heel on Sasha Banks, beating the crap out of her. She used a tank. She did her finishing move off the top rope. She just beat the living crap out of Sasha Banks, fully turning heel. Unfortunately, like, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair were not on SmackDown last night. They're part of the UK tour. That's mostly Raw, but they had to get star power, so they're part of that tour. But Sasha Blackheart was being interviewed, and she made herself know that she's going after Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks is her target. And Sasha Banks just now has been announced to the SmackDown's team, women's team, for Survivor Series. That's true. It's all true. But that's her wrestling career. So we'll see where it goes from here. I know, it's wrestler spotlights. Oh, she's still in her career. She's still very young. I think she's still under 20, not under 20, under 30. Still, she's very young. She's very young. Let me see how older she is. She might be the youngest of the four horsewomen. Let me see. 4 horsewomen, WWE. Oh, she's 29 years old, so yeah, she's still under 30. Yeah, Bailey's older. There's a lot. And she's still very, yeah, okay. So that's basically her WWE career, wrestling career. So she's been in, she's one of the most popular women's wrestlers. Fans love her. She has her stands are nuts. She has some of the worst stands. Her Alexa Bliss has some of the worst stands. Crazy stands. If you know what stands are, right? Obsessed fans. Fans are completely obsessed. And they went after Britt Baker like a couple days ago. It was bad. And Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, those two, the stands of those two do not like each other, because there was heat between the two, between Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. There are some instances, there are some backstage heat between the two with each other. I don't think it's bad now. I think it's water under the bridge now with those two. They're not. I don't think they're best friends. I don't think they're friends. They're just co-workers. But there's no problems with those two. Her best friend is basically Bailey, and she likes working Bianca Belair and etc. Like, Bailey is her best friend. They travel the world together. They do everything with each other. And then let's get talk our Star Wars career. Then we're gonna end it. Yeah. So she was on the second season of The Mandalorian, right? Part of the Mandalores. Sorry, my mistake. All right, let's see some pictures of her. Here she is with the cloak over her head. Here she is again, and here she is with Bo-Katan. So she played a side character. She played a side character in The Mandalorian, obviously. She has said she's not going to be in season 3. I take her word for it now, but we'll see if she's taking another little hiatus for when Mandalorian. I don't know when they start filming. Like when next? I know sometimes next year. If she takes a hiatus when they start filming, or maybe not. It could be like she could just do like a couple days of filming and that. She might not even take a hiatus, but we'll know. We'll know for sure. I take your word for it that she's not going to be in season 3. I know some people said she has said that she's not going to be that much in season 2, but she was in the season finale. She said she's not going to be in the season finale, but she was. I think she said it not to give away spoilers and stuff. I don't know if she's going to be in season 3. I think right now she said she's not going to be in season 2, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know when they start filming, and if she does take a little break, if she's not on Smackdown for a week, or she's not on Smackdown for a few weeks, then I think she's filming Mandalorian, unless she's taking another little hiatus. But she's on her character is Costco Reeves, right? Costco Reeves, and yeah, she did give a DDT to Boba Fett, whatever you want to call him. She did give him a DDT. That's true. And she is a trained warrior, so yeah. And yeah, that's Sasha Banks. She's married. She's that's pretty much it. I knew more about Becky Lynch, but she's been doing quite well in WWE. Like, she's that popular. So yes, that's Sasha Banks for you guys. Boss Sasha Banks. That's her moniker. The boss Sasha Banks, legit boss. You could bank on her finishing move. Is the bank statement. She puts you in a backstabber, and then she puts you in like almost a crossface submission. She models herself after Eddie Guerrero, right? She does a 5-star fog splash. She does a Meteora. She's very good in the ring. Sometimes she might be too fast and cause her to make some mistakes. But she's a little reckless, I guess, in the ring sometimes. But she's still very good. Yeah, and that's Sasha Banks. So I don't know what I'm going to do next. It's a 4 horsewomen, so I have 2 more left. Bailey and Charlotte Flair. I don't know what I'm going to do next. But we'll find. I'll figure it out. I don't know when this next episode's gonna be, but it's gonna be one of those 2, Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch. Not Becky Lynch or Bailey. And with that, guy. So yeah, I'm planning to make a Guardians of the Galaxy video game review and tell you how I thought about the game. I loved it. And Eternals. I saw the movie review. And yes, that's it. That's all I have. And
too sweet. Sweet. Too sweet. Too sweet.
so yes, like, subscribe, comment below, share with your friends. And with that, one more fun thing for you. For my haters.
I don't care. You come in my face, I'm gonna fight you.
I don't even know if that's PG.
And then with that, the AWO there is out.